Welcome back to the Goku Report, and welcome back for a new top 10 list. This time we are looking at 10 rock/metal bands that I personally can't stand to listen to. Though I chose music in the background from my personal favorite rock band, A Perfect Circle. So with that said, dishonorable mentions. There might be one or two bands on the dishonorable mentions that I may like one or two songs from, but with that said, I'm looking at overall the band, whether it be the vocalist combined with other members, and in general the music they make. I may think is trash. In general, I just maybe can't stand the people in the band. But with that said, one band you will not see on this is Limp Bizkit. Why? I'm not the biggest fan of Limp Bizkit, but even though I'm not a fan of Fred Durst, I actually appreciate the musicians behind him, like DJ Lethal, and especially, of course, a criminally underrated guitarist in Wes Borland. So with that said, dishonorable mentions. First up, Staind. Can never get into the band, and a lot of the lyric writing and stuff in the band, though I will say, when it comes to guitar work and stuff, I will say they're one of the more skilled bands on here. At least in guitar work, and that's about it. I'm not a fan of the front guy of Staind. Never have been. Next up is very much a very perverted band that all they can do is sing about sex and drugs. Even though, unfortunately, they have an underrated guitarist, doesn't change the fact that, in my opinion, the music as a whole, not good. Next dishonorable mention, Buckcherry. Then, technically, even though technically it's banned under the name, not just the solo guy himself. Next dishonorable mention, Kid Rock. I can never stand Kid Rock. Also, a band that's probably less well known, dishonorable mention, even though I liked the screaming vocals of the vocalist, the regular singing parts of his music is nothing but auto-tune. It really takes away from, especially when you're trying to do more towards like a gothic/metalcore style, but all the vocals are in auto-tune, it really destroys the quality and the sound of the music. Completely messes up the flow, in my opinion. But with that said, next dishonorable mention is Vampires Everywhere. Next up, dishonorable mention, a band, once upon a time I liked the first maybe album or two, but as time has gone, I really have come to hate the front guy of this band, that being Ivan Moody. He comes across, really, when you look at the way he carries himself, and the other band members as well, come across as kind of douchey, in my opinion. And I can't stand what Five Finger Death Punch has become. In my opinion, after basically American capitalism moving forward, the band deteriorated into just utter recycled garbage and crappy covers. Especially that crappy cover of Gone Away. Also, dishonorable mention, Hollywood Undead. And I was a big new metal fan in the late 90s, early 2000s. I could not stand Hollywood Undead. Last dishonorable mention, as they prefer to go by nowadays, Theory, referring to Theory of a Dead Man's last dishonorable mention. Not a fan of the music, and in my opinion, as time has gone, the music just gets worse and worse. And even at their best, it is like, it's like a really bad, like, it feels like they tried to copy Nickelback, Formula, and they completely flopped on it. And that's one band you will not see on here is Nickelback. Why? Because I actually like Nickelback. Even if Chad isn't always the best guy, still, nevertheless, they're not on the list. Coming at number 10 is a band that I dislike more so because the giant, enormous ego of the front man, and most of the stuff is nothing but auto-tuned to death. And that is, coming at number 10, is the sort of pop rock band, though it's definitely more on the popish auto-tune side now. Coming at number 10, in my opinion, bands I can't stand, is 30 Seconds to Mars. I am not a fan in general of Jared Leto. Yes, he's a good actor, but he has one of the biggest egos I have ever seen. Seriously, somebody needs to pop a pin through his giant balloon ego, because he's gone out of control. Coming at number 9 is a political band. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of political bands and artists I like, but this band sucks in my opinion. Hands down, this group together. Coming at number 9 for me personally is a band called Prophets of Rage. I can't stand them. I don't like, and all they do is recycle and use crappy, like, digital sound effects and stuff in the music. Like, it's garbage in my opinion. That's all it is. It is crappy garbage, but given they're pushing one specific political narrative, I'm not surprised. Because a lot of people, when they push and really show their viewpoints on things, especially in the case of Prophets of Rage, they're garbage in my opinion. Coming at number 8 is probably the most recent band I was made aware of, and I don't get the band. It's weird. It only makes to number 8 just because I, in general, just find their music very confusing and odd. Coming in number 8 for me is AJR. They are a really weird group. Coming in at number 7 is a band I can't stand because of the fake anger and stuff. And in general, the guy, the front man, very much comes across as a jackass. Coming in at number 7, also with a horrible cover of Gangsta's Paradise. Coming at number 7 is Falling in Reverse. Next, coming in 6th, the only tie is between one band who is real garbage, one probably the worst bands come out of nu metal, and easily has produced maybe about the worst cover I've ever heard. Tied with easily, in my opinion, the worst pop punk band, at least in whininess and stuff that I can think of. Tied at number 6 is between Simple Plan and Puddle of Mud. Yeah, both bands are pretty bad in my opinion. I get it, there are people that actually like Simple Plan, but I have never met one person in life, seriously, I've not met one person that has defended Puddle of Mud. Coming at number 5 is arguably one of the worst bands, and all they have is one number 1 hit. Unfortunately, still they had number 1 hit, which I find depressing. And that is a garbage band, and it's no surprise that the frontman is a douchebag. I mean, he does have the name Chris Brown. Coming at number 5, in my opinion, is Trapped. They're pretty bad. Coming at number 4 is one of the worst metalcore bands I've ever heard in my life. Coming at number 4 is Attila. A band I really wish I had never found out about a while back, because every song they've done is horrible. But, not to be outdone, number 3 is, in my opinion, the absolute worst metalcore band I have ever heard. They make even Attila sound even maybe a tiny remotely better, only because at least Attila has some okay guitar work, and that's the only positive I can give Attila. Coming at number 3, in my opinion, is Emmure. Trust me, don't even bother checking out any of Emmure's stuff. They are easily the worst when it comes to fake anger and stuff I've ever heard. Easily, probably the worst, like, scream style vocals I've ever heard. Is by far the worst metalcore band I've ever heard in my life. And right behind is Attila. Who could outrank him, for me, worse than Attila and Emmure? Well, coming at number 2 is probably about the newest band on this list, with a former member of Five Finger Death Punch, which now most of their music has been removed from, I think, Spotify and YouTube for the most part. And as a band, I really wish I had never learned about its existence. A band called Psychosexual. And oh my word, I really wish I had never discovered this band. It's easily one of the worst things I've ever heard. Coming in at number 1, there is no debating the number 1 band I can't stand because of the crappy supposed music. And they try to do stuff. They try to steal stuff from like Black Veil Brides, Kiss, and other bands out there to look edgy for the for the Warp Tour and stuff. But it is some of the worst music I've ever heard in my life, and I really wish I had never learned of their existence several years ago. Coming at number 1 band I can't stand the most, if not one of the top 3 artists I hate the most. Coming at number 1 is Blood on the Dance Floor. There is no band that comes even remotely close of rock/metal bands, though I wouldn't really call them a band. I've heard several of their songs and I really wish I hadn't, and I understand why this band, plus when you learn the background behind one of the members, you'll understand why no one really wants to talk about this band. And this is probably the only time I'm ever going to bring Blood on the Dance Floor ever up in a video, is this video. It's the only thing it deserves to be on a list of any kind, is this kind of list. But with that said, that is, in my opinion, 10 bands I absolutely cannot stand. But with that said, leave a comment below, tell me, what are some rock or metal bands you absolutely can't stand? I'm kind of afraid in some ways that other bands I might become aware of by any comments, but we'll see. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time and stay safe. And this was a new top 10 for the Goku Report.